What is happening, everybody? Trey here, and today a reaction to the classics. I am back with another full album reaction to Black Sabbath. As today we are up to their fourth record, aptly named Volume 4. Want to shout out our longtime friend, patron, and Sabbath fan of the channel, Carl, for requesting this today. Going to be going through all of the Ozzy lead Sabbath albums. So I've already had reactions up to their debut, to Paranoid, and to the Great Master of Reality. So you can go check those out as well if you'd like. But with that said, let's just get into the quick facts today, because I'm really looking forward to this record. This is, as I noted, their fourth album, released in September of '72. It achieved gold status in less than a month and was the band's fourth consecutive release to sell 1 million copies in the US, where it reached number 13 and reached number 8 on the charts in the UK. It was also their first record not produced by Roger Bain. Guitarist Tony Iommi actually assumed production duties, and then Patrick Meehan, the band's then manager, was listed as co-producer, though his actual involvement with the production on the album was minimal. Vocalist, the great Ozzy Osbourne, noted in '72 that, quote, "It's the first album we produced ourselves. Previously, we had Roger Bain as a producer, and although he's very good, he didn't really feel what the band was doing. It was a matter of communication. This time, we did it with Patrick Meehan, our manager, and I think we're all very happy. It was great to work in an American studio." Meehan had little involvement, as I noted, in the production, but he insisted he be listed as a producer, according to Tony Iommi. It was plagued with problems, though, during the recording of this record, many due to substance abuse. In the studio, the band regularly had speaker boxes full of cocaine delivered. In his autobiography, I Am Ozzy, Osbourne speaks at length about the sessions. Quote, "In spite of all the arsing around, musically, those few weeks in Bel Air were the strongest we've ever been." But he admits, quote, "Eventually we started to wonder where the F all the coke was coming from. That coke was the widest, purest, strongest stuff you could ever imagine. One sniff and you were king of the universe." During a show in support of this record at the Hollywood Bowl, the cocaine abuse caught up to Tony Iommi. Quote, "Tony had been doing coke literally for days. We all had, but Tony had gone over the edge. He walked off the stage and collapsed." During soundcheck earlier that same day, a crazed Christian man attempted to storm the stage and stab Tony with a dagger, but he was tackled by members of the band's crew. According to Geezer Butler, the bassist, he said, quote, "We wanted to take a break at that point." Well, I would too if somebody was coming to take my life and I had enough cocaine for a lifetime coming through my system. Ozzy noted that he also recounted that the band's ongoing anxiety over the possibility of being busted, which worsened after they went to the cinema to see The French Connection, a great 1971 film featuring the legendary Gene Hackman, about undercover New York City cops busting an international heroin smuggling ring. Quote, "By the time the credits rolled, I was hyperventilating." Years later, in 2013, Geezer Butler admitted to Mojo magazine that heroin too had entered the picture. Quote, "We sniffed it, we never shot up. I didn't realize how nuts thing had gotten until I went home and the girl I was with didn't recognize me." Man, the album cover features a monochrome picture of Ozzy with hands raised, throwing the peace sign, taken during a Sabbath concert in Birmingham Town Hall in January of '72. Although critics were lukewarm on initial release, when were they not back in the day on Sabbath? Retrospectively, it's considered a classic. Rolling Stone magazine ranked it 14th on their top 100 greatest metal albums ever. All music written by Sabbath here, and lyrics by Geezer Butler. So with that said, man, it's always interesting reading these 60s, 70s bands where drugs enter the picture, man. It's usually not a good mixture, but I'm curious to hear this. I know a couple songs off this, but if Ozzy, obviously spoke so highly on the recording sessions and with the quality of the work that's been up to this point, it should be fun. As always, man, going to include as much music as I can here on YouTube without us getting copywritten, but the full reaction with all the music included over on Vimeo will be linked down below. Shout out to all the patrons like Carl who help us pay for that server space and support the channel. You can check out our Patreon page as well if you'd like to have us react to something. You can check out the link below. But with that said, let's get into this. All right, we are going to kick this thing off with Wheels of Confusion. Some North American pressings have parts of the songs titled as The Straightener, and that's how it is listed on Spotify as well. which is just simply the coda to this track. It is not titled that on original releases or any European release. So if you're across the pond and wondering why in the world Spotify has the straightener here at the end of it, that is why. But look, we're starting with the longest song on the record right here at nearly 8 minutes. So looking forward to this. Like I said, I only know, I think, Changes and Snowblind off this album. So looking forward to diving in more to it. So with that said, gonna have the lyrics pulled up, just gonna take in, enjoy these songs, and then give my thoughts after the fact. So let's get it going. Bit of a unique sounding guitar tone by Iommi right here. I like it. Interesting way to kick off the record. Fantastic fills by the great Bill Ward right here as well. Really cool panning effects as well right here, which Sabbath is known to do from time to time. Here we go to the Straightener, I believe. Just some gorgeous instrumentation right here. What a way to kick off this album. And I'm disappointed on Spotify here. This doesn't even have 1 million streams. Are you kidding me, man? What an epic way to kick off your fourth record right here. And I guess I'll touch on the coda here at the Straightener, just since we just heard it. And man, again, highlights. I've been heaping praises on this guy and all the reactions. But man, Tony Iommi is man, one of the great guitarists of all time. I know that's not some big revelatory statement, but I just love the sounds that he can get out of his guitar. And he was making it sing there in that coda, and really enjoyed some of the panning effects that we had on this track as well. And then again, the subject matter I thought was pretty interesting as well, talking about the times, in childhood where you're wandering through your mind in the land of fairy tales and stories, lost in happiness. I knew no fears. Innocence and love was all I knew. It was an illusion. So we have these, it's almost a tale of two viewpoints, right? Where he notes that innocence that we have as children, kind of looking at the world through rose-tinted glasses, and then, as you grow up and experience life and some of the hardships that it deals, right, that kind of gets taken away from you. So as it goes on, he notes, soon the days were passing into years. Happiness just didn't come so easy. Life was more than fairy tales and daydreams. Innocence was just another word. And again, Ozzy ends this with saying that refrain, it was an illusion. Man, it ends saying, try your hardest, you'll still be a loser. The world will still be turning when you're gone. Yeah, when you're gone. So, you could view this from a pessimistic, maybe, stance here, or maybe it's just a realistic stance of how life is. But in any case, it is an epic way to start off this record, and will surely be amongst my favorite tracks when we get there at the end. But we still got a long way until we get there, because we are going now to the second song, Tomorrow's Dream, which actually was the only single from this record, and it did not chart, surprisingly. So let's check it out, a 3-minute tune. cool crescendoing note right there. Tomorrow's Dream right here. And as the song closed, I kind of got a more full picture. It was a little more abstract as I was reading the lyrics, wondering, okay, is this just a guy again kind of trying to see the brighter side of things? But I think in that final verse, so realize I'm much better without you. You're not the one and only thing in my heart. I'll just go back to pretending I'm living. So this time I'm going to have the star part. I think it gives a little more context into this as a relationship that is broken. My man here gonna hit the train, try to clear his head, not let the darkness and sadness overtake him. And and not a lot of Sabbath tracks clock in at the 2 or 3 minute range in the singles. So I thought it was a good, catchy, again, riff, a cool little guitar solo in there, like some of those crescendoing notes that Tony was bringing forth. Surprised it didn't chart, but hey, what do I know, man? I still thought it was a really strong effort by Sabbath right here, and a strong vocal performance by Ozzy. And so now we're going to go to the most popular song, at least on streaming, and one that I know. It is Changes right here, their third song. The song's piano melody was composed by Tony Iommi, who was experimenting with the instrument in the studio. Lyrics were by Geezer Butler, and Ozzy has referred to the song as, quote, heartbreaking. It was inspired by Bill Ward's breakup with his first wife. Notably, the song was not recorded with a real string ensemble. Instead, Geezer and Tony used a mellotron to create the sound of an orchestra. It does not feature guitar or drums either. Eminem sampled this song famously on his song Going Through Changes off of Recovery in 2010. And Ozzy re-recorded this as a duet with his daughter Kelly Osbourne 3 decades later in 2003. For this version, which reached #1 in the UK, the lyrics were revised to reflect their relationship and moments of their life together. In the revised version, their lyrics portray the changing relationship of a father and daughter drifting apart. I will have to check that out afterwards. Let me know if you enjoy that version as well, reaching #1 in the UK. But for this version, man, I like how Sabbath's gonna, they throw a song or two on each record that goes against the grain of their normal sound, and again showcases just what talent the band possess. Got that mellotron slowly creeping in the back. Dun, 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 dun. But it's too late now. I've let her go. I'm going through changes. I'm going through changes. I've always loved Ozzy's vocal on this chorus right here.
together, we found a way, but soon the world had its evil way. My heart was blinded, love went astray. I'm going through changes. I'm going through It took so long to realize, and I can still hear her last goodbyes. Now all my days are filled with tears. Wish I could go back and change these years. I'm going through changes. I'm going through
Changes right here. Again, something totally different than anything Sabbath had done up to this point. Throwing in, a ballad, throwing in the piano, the mellotron, which I didn't know the mellotron was ever on this track. So kind of unique to hear that song, knowing that now. But yeah, I noted at the beginning, right? Whether it's Planet Caravan on Paranoid, whether it's something like Orchid on Master of Reality. Sabbath throw these tracks on here that, again, switch up the pacing of the record, which I always appreciate. I'd be curious if you're a longtime Sabbath fan, what were your thoughts on Changes when it first dropped, right? I can see some, big time Sabbath people being like, what in the world are they doing releasing a song like this? But, I enjoy it, and, I think it does reflect kind of that drifting of a relationship quite well, and that melody is just so calming in a sense, which almost like, hey, I'm accepting my fate of what's happening here in these changes. And now we're gonna switch gears to FX, an instrumental right here, where it came as a joke. The band noted, after smoking weed, the crucifix hanging from Tony Iommi's neck accidentally struck the strings of his guitar, and the band considered it an interesting sound. An echo effect was added, and the band proceeded to hit the guitar with various objects to generate odd sound effects. We do live streams here every Monday and Wednesdays, and one of our recent was a Battle of the Bands featuring Zeppelin and Sabbath, Queen and Bowie. Had a little 70s night, and one of our longtime supporters, Josh, came in and brought "Stairway to Heaven" by Zeppelin against this song, just kind of as a joke. And Zeppelin ended up winning that battle right there, because this is just an interesting little tune right here. If you've never heard it, hey man, buckle up for a minute and a half. The echoes. What a stark contrast, right? Going from the piano ballad of changes into this. The epic masterpiece of masterpieces, FX. Well, maybe not quite, but hey, man, it's interesting that Sabbath just had the cojones to put something like this on there, where I think most bands wouldn't. And hey, I mean, you could argue this didn't even need to be on here, but hey, it was short, and yeah, we'll move on from that. As I noted, it is interesting going from changes into this, and then now that's going to transition us into closing out the first side of this record with Supernaut on here, which Bill Ward noted that John Bonham really enjoyed this song. So let's check it out. Classic Iommi riff. Let's go.
I wanna reach out and touch the sky. I wanna touch the sun, but I don't need to fly. I'm gonna climb up every mountain on the moon and find a distant better way with this moon.
Woof. It's a tasty riff. Let's go.
I've crossed the ocean, turned every bend. I found the plastic and the golden rainbow bend. I've been through magic and through life reality. I've lived 1,000 years and never felt the
Ooh. Loving the percussion here by the great Bill Ward. The epic Supernaut right there, man. What a lovely track that was. Man, Tony Iommi again. I just love that riff. That one's going to be stuck in my head for a while. And of course, Bill Ward here showcasing his unbelievable percussion skills midway through the track with that instrumental break. And Ozzy with a very strong, fiery vocal performance as well. Talking about a guy. I mean, I'm sure you can read some drugs into this, or just in general, a guy who's seen and done all of these things, and at the end of the day, he's content in that, and content in kind of who he is. I really like that the final lines there. Don't try to reach me because I'll tear up your mind. I've seen the future and I've left it behind. He sees the future in a sense, probably thinking about if he had this life that they say you need, with the family, the kids, this and that. But he's going to do his own thing. And hey, man, I respect that. And shoot, I really, really enjoyed that. That riff in particular was one of Iommi's best, in my opinion. And I know that's a high bar, but we're going to go now to another epic song, the other song besides Changes I Knew on here. Snowblind song about cocaine. They actually wanted to call the record Snowblind, but the record company refused. This has been covered from Converge, one of the great kind of metalcore type bands of the past 20 years, System of a Down and Black Label Society. Bill Ward said, quote, "You don't really have that across-the-board smash hit. Snowblind may be my favorite track on the record, though, because it's just got that great groove and slams in with that killer riff. They're singing about something that at the time was very near and dear to their heart." So with that said, man, let's buckle up for this epic.
What you get and what you see, things that don't come easily. Feeling happy in my pain, icicles within my brain. Something glowing in my head, wings of ice that soon will spread. Dance to feed my very soul, makes me happy, makes me cold.
I really enjoy the imagery and how descriptive these lyrics are as well.
My eyes are blind, but I can see.
Let's go. Iomi just on top form this whole track.
Don't you think I know what I'm doing? Don't tell me that it's doing it wrong. You're the one that's really the loser. This is where I feel I belong. Kiss the world with winter flowers. Turn my days to frozen hours. Lying snowblind in the sun. Who my ice age have become.
The epic Snowblind right here. Really enjoy just how the lyrics play on the snow imagery, I guess you could say, you know, talking about feeling happy in my pain, icicles within my brain, something blowing in my head, winds of ice that soon will spread down to freeze my very soul, makes me happy, makes me cold. And then Tony Iommi is just the MVP of this track right here, showcasing his talent in a multitude of ways. You want a great riff? I got you. You want a memorable solo? I got you. You want me to play fast? Sure. You want me to go a little slower as he did in the solo and be a bit more emotive in that? He's got you covered there too. And man, I just thought just one of Zappa's great tunes in my opinion right here. And you know, Ozzy in the bridge notes, don't you think I know what I'm doing? Don't tell me that it's doing me wrong. You're the one that's really the loser. This is where I feel I belong. And he notes then at the very end, lying snowblind in the sun, will my ice age ever come? And so again, you know, just dealing with the many feelings that come with drug addiction right there, and dependence on a substance. And you know, Ozzy just being honest right there, which I appreciate. And so we're gonna go now to the track Cornucopia. As I'm filming this near Thanksgiving time, it kind of feels right. Geezer Butler reportedly wrote it when he heard on the radio that only 25 men had been killed in Vietnam that week. Bill Ward said of the song, quote, "I hated the song. There were some patterns that were just horrible. I nailed it in the end, but the reaction I got was the cold shoulder from everybody. It was like, well, just go home. You're not being of any use right now. I felt like I'd blown it. I was about to get fired." Oh man, well, I'm glad that didn't happen for you, Bill. You're way too talented a guy for that to have happened. But anyways, let's get after it. Getting really, really heavy on this one, man. I feel the doom is around the corner.
Too much near the truth, they say. Keep it till another day. Let them have one, no one will win. Freedom's yours, just pay your dues. We just want your soul to use. You're gonna go insane. I'm trying to save your brain.
All right, Cornucopia right here, man. Starting with a very doomy riff. That start was dark, man, heavy, and kind of reflects a lot of the lyricism right here, where we touch on greed, and at the very end, I can see where Geezer got inspiration from hearing about only 25, men dying in Vietnam, where it's take a life, it's going cheap, kill someone, no one will weep. Freedom's yours, just pay your dues. We just want your soul to use. Woo. Man, heavy lyrics right there, heavy riff, and though it's not a tip-top favorite for me on this record, it's still a very strong song, and it switches types of rhythm and as well throughout, and so I can see why Bill maybe wasn't a huge fan of that. Might have been a bit difficult to pull off, but again, Ozzy was strong on the vocals as well, and yeah, man, I like the subject matter, and so we're gonna go now to an instrumental, Laguna Sunrise, a cool name right here, written by Tony Iommi, inspired by a sunrise he saw at Laguna Beach in California after a night of partying. I didn't expect the string-like arrangement in here. Again, a very pretty instrumental we got right here, y'all. All right, the Laguna Sunrise right here. I didn't expect the string arrangement to be in this as well. And again, you kind of have Tony obviously taking a step back from the heavy riffs, going picking up the acoustic. And again, it was a very pretty sounding song, and I think kind of fits the name quite well. I can just imagine peacefully being on the beach, seeing the California sun come up, man, and just this song going through your head, it'd make for a good way to start the day. I'll say that. So, with that said, we're gonna go now to I believe the shortest song, save for FX, on this record. We have Saint Vitus Dance right here. Saint Vitus was a Christian patron saint of dancing. And this, St. Vitus's dance, is a disorder brought on by bacterial infection in the brain named after the saint. It results in uncontrollable muscle spasms in the hands and feet. Never heard of it, but hey, I'm learning something here today. And let's see what Sabbath makes use of their shorter runtime. Liking the tempo change we got here. A unique, almost like 50s, 60s rock and roll style riff right here. Before going back to the heavier one. St. Vitus's Dance, again, a unique song, it seems, in Sabbath's catalog up to this point, where you almost get a 50s, 60s rock and roll style riff in there before then switching to, more classic traditional Sabbath, where it's a bit more heavy. So again, kudos to Iommi for being able to bring that forth. And, it's a song that went by really quick. Lyrically, you got through, so you think you know what's going on inside her head. It's always dangerous, right? Trying to read someone's mind, thinking that I know what this person's thinking. You think she wants your money, but it's you she wants instead. So this guy thinks, oh, she's a gold digger, if I can use the term before it was one. And he's cutting it off. Yet deep down, she actually did love him for himself. And hey, did he lose that opportunity? Last line, she only thinks of you, I'm talking as a friend, trying to tell his buddy right here, dude, you might want to rethink this one. Maybe you made a mistake. But I thought that was a unique and a cool track to see really brought out right there. And we're gonna finish with the Under the Sun / Everyday Comes and Goes, about a 6-minute song right here. And afterwards, I'll give my favorite songs and overall thoughts on Black Sabbath, Volume 4. We're back to that heaviness, man. I like it.
Well, I don't want no Jesus freak to tell me what it's all about. No black magician telling me to cast my soul out. Don't believe in violence, I don't even believe in peace. I've opened the door, now my mind's been released. Well, I don't want no preacher telling me about the God in the sky. No, I don't want no one to tell me where I'm gonna go when I die. I wanna live my life, I don't want people telling me what to do. I just believe in myself, 'cause no one else is true. Every day just comes and goes like one long overdose. People try to rule a nation, I can't see through their frustration.
Hey, let's go, Bill.
People hiding their real faces, people running their red races behind each other. They grow the weeds in their world of make-believe. So believe what I tell you, it's the only way you'll find in the end. Just believe in yourself, you know you really shouldn't have to pretend. Don't let those empty people try and interfere with your mind. Just live your life and leave them all behind.
All right, the everyday comes and goes section, I'm assuming. Ending this album off on a really high note right here, going back to what Sabbath does best in my estimation, the heaviness, Iommi bringing the very heavy riffs, and Ozzy feeling quite inspired in his vocal performance and these lyrics that take no prisoners, kind of F the world. I'm going to do what I want, right? I'm not going to have anyone kind of tell me what to do. He notes, don't believe in violence. I don't even believe in peace. I've opened the door. Now my mind has been released. There's a sense of freedom, I think, that Ozzy's trying to get to here, where he notes that, no matter what anyone does or says, like, I'm going to be me. I'm going to be authentic. He says, I want to live my life. I don't want people telling me what to do. I just believe in myself because no one else is true. Then after that, I believe it was right before the bridge. It might have been during the guitar solo, but Bill Ward comes off on a really fiery drum, not solo per se, but some great fills by him throughout this entire song. And then, you have the coda in there as well. Every day comes and goes, which I thought just wrapped the entire record up in a nice little bow right there. And, the last lines, don't let those empty people try to interfere with your mind. Just live your life and leave them all behind. Kind of a recurring theme through some of Sabbath's work right here, to, just kind of figure things out for yourself, so to speak. But yet again, really enjoyed that song. And that's going to take us now to my favorites. It's going to be Under the Sun, as we just listened to it. In no particular order, I'm also going to go Wheels of Confusion. I thought that was an epic way. Sabbath really good at opening and closing their records, I've noticed, through these first 4 releases. I'm also going to have to give Supernaut. I think that's my favorite riff on the entire album and one of Iommi's best. And that thing's still going through my mind. Don't let my awful rendition deter you from that. But I gotta give love to that, and Snowblind as well. And overall thoughts on this record. Again, Zapp is still firing on all cylinders right here. I think, again, showcasing the wide array of topics that they weren't afraid to talk about. Everything, from kind of the war effort to love, again, in here, to drugs. There's a little bit of everything on this album right here. And interesting styles as well. Could have gone without FX, but besides that, I think every song here, had a purpose, had a place, from almost, like I said, that 50s, 60s rock and roll riff that St. Vitus Dance had, to, again, just that the doom kind of heaviness that like a Cornucopia had, to just the piano ballad of changes. It's seeing a band kind of stretch their creative legs through their releases is always fun when you're going chronologically. And, you see that here. So for me, I'm going to be at a very strong 8.5 on this record. I think Sabbath have done it again. They've, knocked it out of the park on these first 4 releases. And, man, I'm looking forward to what they have in store next. And so let me know your favorite songs off of Volume 4 down below, and where you would rank it in Sabbath's catalog. And be sure to show some kudos to Carl down in the comments as well for taking us on this journey here. And we'll be back next month with some more Sabbath. And of course, you can check out the other album reviews that we have up as well. But until next time, y'all, thanks so much for watching. Happy listening, and I will see you.